The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad was hit by around 7 mortar rounds in the largest attack of its kind in recent memory. According to a U.S. military official, this incident of fire on the embassy is the first of its kind in over a year and highlights an escalation in attacks on U.S. targets. A number of military bases housing U.S. forces have been targeted in recent weeks, raising fears of a wider regional conflict. The United States strongly condemned the attacks and called on Iraq to bring the perpetrators to justice. Matthew Miller, the U.S. State Department spokesman, said, "The numerous Iran-aligned militias operating freely in Iraq threaten the security and stability of Iraq, our personnel, and our partners in the region." Meanwhile, Iraqi Prime Minister al-Sudani warned that attacks on embassies undermine the country's security and urged security forces to apprehend those responsible. The UN Assistance Mission for Iraq also condemned the attack on the U.S. Embassy and warned of possible repercussions. In a statement on a social media platform, they stressed, "UNAMI condemns this morning's rocket attack on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. All diplomatic premises must be protected in accordance with international law, as underlined by the Iraqi government." The attacks come against the backdrop of the ongoing war between U.S. ally Israel and Hamas in Gaza. The United States leads an international coalition fighting jihadists in Iraq and neighboring Syria, and its forces have come under repeated attack in recent weeks. The Pentagon reported at least 84 attacks on U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria since 17 October, with at least 60 U.S. troops wounded. The U.S. has responded with a series of strikes that have killed at least 15 militants in Iraq and up to 7 in Syria. Let's move on to our next news: Israel's accusations. In the midst of the Israel-Hamas conflict, Israel alleges that Hamas is diverting vital aid intended for Gaza, exacerbating a critical humanitarian situation in the region. Concerns about Hamas priorities. Israel alleges that Hamas is prioritizing its own interests in the midst of the conflict, preventing the delivery of vital aid to Gazans in desperate need. Video testimony. A video has emerged of a Palestinian woman claiming that all aid entering Gaza is going into Hamas tunnels, supporting Israel's claims. The video was distributed by the Middle East Media Research Institute. Desperation in Gaza. Disturbing scenes of desperation in Gaza show Palestinians resorting to looting the limited aid that does reach them amid the ongoing crisis. Different perspectives. Contrary to Israel's claims, earlier statements by U.S. officials suggested no evidence of aid diversion or blockage to Gazans, underscoring a discrepancy in the interpretation of the situation. Since the start of the Israel-Hamas war, Israel has accused Hamas of diverting vital aid intended for Gaza. Gazans face a dire humanitarian situation, with many on the brink of starvation. Israel claims that Hamas is blocking aid in order to prioritize its own interests. A video released by the Middle East Media Research Institute suggests that aid entering Gaza is going through Hamas tunnels. Palestinians in Gaza, desperate for aid, are resorting to looting. While U.S. officials initially said there was no evidence of aid diversion, conflicting claims persist.